do you have any, every time I have one of these, we do one of these, Phil, I'm just impressed with how advanced you are with some of this stuff, like in your thinking and your understanding, because you're living this fully. You're living the Udemy business, and I know you have all these other marketplaces, but this is your core, and so you are really like in it and digging in and learning, and so I think you're actually one of the foremost people to learn from when it comes to the Udemy marketplace, because you're at that high level, but you've earned it, through just blood, sweat, and tears, working so hard. And so, yeah, kudos to you. But do you have anything new or kind of cool or advanced that you're doing? Like the idea you had earlier was killer. I mean,
yeah,
send your student
well,
a little
I
video.
appreciate it. And it's funny because I don't know if much has changed. It's just like kind of just keeping to do it and like continuing to put out good courses, and you build the snowball of an audience on Udemy that enjoys your courses. So the next time you launch a course, you automatically are, it's easier to make sales. And when it's easier to make those initial sales, it's easier to rank a course. And so it's kind of just this snowball that if you start to build slowly, it's going to be small at the beginning, but if you continue with it, it should continue to grow. There's not really any like secrets, or I'm trying to think if there's anything that I'm doing right now. Something that I've done lately more than like this past year that I didn't do as much was actually using my educational announcements. And I don't do that with all my courses, but with my photography courses, since I've been writing kind of photography related content on my website basically every week for the past year or so, I'm sending out educational announcements most weeks to students with that kind of bonus content. And so that it's hard to gauge and know how much that affected when we launched our new photography masterclass. But maybe, there's a lot of students from the past year from my 10 plus photography classes who were getting this content who thought, wow, well, Phil has been sending all this great stuff and he's got a new course, so sure, I'll buy it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
One thing that I do that some people do, but I think a lot of people don't do that well, is actually doing like a semi-good sales sequence with your Udemy promotional announcements. So when I know that the best course launches I have are when I save 2 announcements specifically for that course launch. And I do a launch email, and then I follow up a few days later or a week later. So even for this photography masterclass launch, I think we timed it at the end of a month. So I sent, 3 emails about this new course. And so a lot of people will hopefully save, use one of their promo announcements for a course launch. But a lot of people might just use their promo announcement for launching a course, but also having 10 other courses on there. Or every week sending, $10 coupons to all their courses. And they might make a couple $100 every time they send that. But I do think that if they save those and use them for new courses or use them a little bit more intelligently, they will make more money or more sales.
I totally agree with that. That's one of the things that I learned when I created this promo announcement that just did amazing. And then I was like, wait a minute, let me backtrack and see what exactly I did there. Turned it into a course, of course, on Udemy. But I realized that when you do a sequence of 2 promotional emails within about 3 or 4 days of each other, you get much better results because it's like a memory jogger. It reminds the person, oh, yeah, I remember Dave sent me something, but I didn't really look into it, and now I'm looking into it seriously.
Yeah.
You get those first people that did take action on the first email, and then you get the stragglers with the second email. Yep. And now you're saying that if you go towards the end of the month, you can actually use 3 and hypothetically 4 emails, right? You could use all 4, 2 at the end of one month and 2 at the beginning of the next month. That's there you go. There's the advanced strategy I was looking for.
Yeah, and that's if you really want to take launching a specific course seriously. And a lot of people can do this because they're not creating a course every month. Most people aren't doing that. And so you can actually send 3 promotional announcements for one course. And I have the numbers right here actually that I can share. because I split it up so I can see which coupon codes I use for each email.
Oh, wow.
When I launched the course, and this is just to Udemy, I also have separate coupons that I sent to my own email list. So this is just through the Udemy promo announcement.
Mm-hmm.
When I first did the launch, and I launched at $10 because nowadays I launched at $10. I just want as many students as possible.
Right.
500 to date. And so this might not have been like the first day, but to date, 540 people have used that coupon.
Wow.
My second email, which was a couple days later, 122 people have used that. My third, which was a few days after that, 412 people have used that.
Wow.
So you can see that in that last one, it was like a final, like, you've got 24 hours left.
Right.
And so we know that having like some sort of limited availability or something helps.
Yep.
It's hard to do that on Udemy, though, because there's always a sale. So one thing I actually did, this is another sort of advanced technique that might not work for all topics, but and I got this approved through Udemy. So I would, it's always good to double check with their team, but I asked them if this was okay. But we offered a giveaway to everyone who purchased in the first week. And so we actually gave away a little digital camera. So it was a few $100s. So it was actually a decent prize. But we said, okay, if you buy within the first week, you're going to be automatically entered into this giveaway.
Oh, wow.
And so it gave this extra benefit or incentive for someone to purchase right then and there. And that's also why like that final email said, okay, you got 24 hours to be enrolled, plus you get in this giveaway. It's not about like 24 hours left to get this course for $9 or $10 because tomorrow they can get it for $12. But it was that sort of last minute sort of deal. So that's another thing that I did with that class.
See, that's the advanced strategy I knew I was going to get out of you today, Phil.
I just got to think about it. Just got to talk it out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I bet people are taking notes right now and they're like, man, I got to do that. Yeah. That's beautiful. I love it. First of all, the power of giveaways. I'm learning a lot about giveaways and how important those are to generate leads. And that's a whole nother strategy for a whole nother day. But man, yeah, if you can do that and do it within a 3-day period. Now, I wanted to ask you, what was the dates, not the specific dates, but like the first, second, and third email, was the third email after the first of the following month? I would assume.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I can probably look at a calendar.
What I mean is, were the first 2 emails in one month and then the last email in the second month, the next month?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because it also makes sense because you're hitting them right after the first of the month when they're getting paid.
Yeah.
Just, not to be crude about it, but that's when people get paid. It's a good time to hit them. And one of the things I learned in my strategy was to do that 2 email sequence right after the 15th. So around the 17th, 18th, 20th, around that time when they've got some fresh money, but before they have to pay the next bill or whatever. Yeah. And it's just a little bit of strategy about the timing of your promotional messages. So you get them when they're flush. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a good strategy. And I don't think people really think about that when they're selling on Udemy, or most people don't.